Would you help Jesus Christ? That is the question. If you were in the crowd back in the day, would you help Jesus Christ? Apostles turned away from him. Friends, you name it, everybody turned away and couldn't help. Would you help? Maybe none of us would. However, I'm sure a lot of us would like to think we would or could, or at least think that we should have. This Passion of the Christ story is probably the greatest story of suffering ever told. And what occurs to me is that we're in a moment in time right now, a lot of events going on around the world changing rapidly. However, what we see right now in the Middle East is akin to the Passion of the Christ. We see undue, avoidable, unnecessary harm, suffering, death, and destruction rain down upon a group of innocents. And I guess the greatest suffering that can be caused to the most innocent of souls is the greatest tragedy. And that's the Passion of the Christ story. And so what we are all doing right now with the Palestinians suffering in immeasurable ways, they haven't stopped screaming out in agony, feeling the heights of despair, grief, and anguish that a human soul can feel continuously for too long, and on loudspeaker at the height of their lungs for the last recent time. And what is going on is this story of repeating itself, the Passion of the Christ, and I just see all of us here, all the Catholics, all the Christians, every other religious devotee, everyone, the entire world is suffering, watching, suffering in silence, maybe watching, head in the sand, can't bear to watch, as these Palestinians are suffering for the sins of mankind. All of us. I mean, we can put our head in the sand as much as we want, but we're in the crowd turning away, going, it's too much. It's too much to bear, to look at. There is the greatest innocent suffering, children suffering the greatest of tragedies, like the most powerful, destructive forces known to mankind, inflicted upon these characters, these innocent souls. And we're watching Jesus walk by with the crowny the thorn of crowns, and the cross on their back, blooded, beaten, looking over at us, and we're turning away. Where are we? What are people to do? I mean, people are sharing posts and keeping it alive, the vision. That's why it's happening right in front of our faces. But all the politicians, all the governments, the powerful members are in the crowd watching, like the rest of us. So the sins are in front of all of us, of mankind. And if you don't stop, if you're in the crowd and you wouldn't help Jesus, you're letting it happen. And so this Passion of the Christ story is being laid out there. They're suffering for the sins of mankind right now, right in front of us. Jesus is turning in the crowd to look at you, me. And so, what a time to be alive. The question is, would you help Jesus Christ in the crowd? From the crowd, would you get up and help him? It's making it very difficult. The situation, the complexities of it all are making it very difficult to untangle this and approach and try to help in some meaningful way. I guess talking and sharing a lot of these thoughts are what we can do. I mean, right now it's the idea of anti-Semitism is it's not present. It's constantly laid out in legislature and policy and platform rules and regulations and you name it, but it's not there. Like, you can actually take away and swap out the races of people sending the bombs and the races of people enduring the suffering and the destruction. and still call it immoral. It's far beyond the superficial physical analysis of skin and race, the physicality of it. It's beyond that. It's spiritual. It's about morality. So it's a spiritual battle. And to say it's wrong is not a physically attached anti-Semitic, anti-some ethnicity problem. It is, as again, you can take Palestinians sending the bombs to Jewish people in an encampment in that Gaza Strip, if for a hypothetical, and it's wrong. So it's not about the physical. I don't understand why it's being. I mean, it's obviously the internet's catching up, and we're all starting to talk about, okay, it's not anti-Semitic, it's anti-war, anti-suffering, anti-undue, avoidable, unnecessary destruction over military reach, Israeli government incompetence, and you name it. And ultimately, it's a spiritual battle and a spiritual interpretation that needs to take place. It's about morality, and the devil, the extinguisher of souls, is at play. And that is what anyone within good conscience that listens to themselves is against. So I think it's time to look back at Jesus in this Passion of the Christ story, this suffering that's playing out in front of us, and help. We need more people of power with platform and influence talking directly about the topic of morality. Forget the physicality of the ethnicity and these people out their physical structure. It's about the moral, spiritual ongoings and immorality at play. We need people of power and influence with resources and all that to directly engage in meaningful conversation, dialogue, publicly if possible, with more people in places of power in government areas and whatnot. It is a big moment for us, humanity across the world, and it's not just cost of life, the cost of living crisis, look after yourself, head in the sand and move on. It is there for everyone to see, and we need to look back and take action in this Passion of the Christ reliving right now.